welcome to the channel. Please like and subscribe. This video is going to be about switching to Google Fi for an Alaskan. It'll also apply to other people. I've already started the process as far as the initial sign up, which is quite easy. I think for most people, for an Alaskan, it's a little bit more complicated because they say they offer it nationwide, but the reality is you cannot. There is no valid Alaskan address that you can use for Google Fi. So it was a complicated process for us to determine that, and also I can't transfer my number over, my Alaskan number. So they don't truly offer service to everyone. If you have an Alaskan number, and if you don't have an address, you can use a physical address. Outside of Alaska, but in the United States, it's not going to be possible. So I ended up having to use my sister's address, and this is at their recommendation. I called the customer service using my sister's address, and I'm getting the SIM card at Best Buy in Anchorage. I'm not in Anchorage right now, but I'm having someone pick it up. So so far, the customer service has been good. I call them up. You don't really spend hardly any time on hold. You get right to someone. Now, the issues pertaining to switching over for an Alaska resident and an Alaskan with an Alaskan number are difficult. So basically what I'm going to end up doing here is I'm going to turn my phone plan that I currently have with my Alaska number to the bare minimum. Hopefully I can get that thing around $15 a month. I kind of need to have it for business purposes. I'm going to switch it to call forwarding to forward to my Google Fi number. So it's going to be a little bit convoluted, but it actually should work quite well. I should be able to use my old Alaska number, forward it to the Google Fi number, and we'll see how it works. I'll go through that with you as the process unfolds here. I don't know if this is going to work at all. So far, I really like the idea of Google Fi because I spent a lot of time traveling all throughout the United States and internationally. They warned me that I need to use it the majority of the time in the United States, and I certainly will do that, but I do spend quite a bit of time traveling internationally as well. And this should make things a lot easier if you're familiar with the SIM card, rat race you got to do when you're traveling all over the world, different crossing borders, different countries. It's a nightmare. So we'll see how this goes. Now, I'm not going to be able to finish the review for the international travel. That'll be several months down the line when I actually truly test it. But from what I can tell, that works pretty well. The main review and the main issues as of now are just with this being in Alaska, which doesn't, if you're from Alaska, you know what I'm talking about. These kinds of things can be quite difficult. When, apparently it's supposed to be really easy, but the reality is that's just not the case. Addresses don't work. They don't like phone numbers from Alaska. Half the people you talk to don't even realize Alaska is part of the United States. So it's like, well, we don't offer service outside of Alaska. Google Fi didn't do that, but I'm just talking as a general thing. Like I've had Amazon do that before. Oh, we don't ship outside of you can't do, this previously, you can't do this shipping service outside of the United States. Well, Alaska is in the United States, so let's get that clear. Now, Google Fi hasn't done that. But there still are some of the other issues, common issues. Now we'll see how the workarounds that I have come up with, we'll see how those work. I hope it works quite well. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is just a baseline speed test. We'll go to speed.com and we'll test my Wi-Fi, my cell phone that I have now, and then we'll do the Google Fi cell phone. So we'll just go, this is a good website for this if you guys are curious, speed.com. Okay, don't go to that site. It's, what is it? Speedtest.net, that's it. Okay, here we are. Go. So this is my Wi-Fi speed here at my house. Now my Google Fi, as you know, if you're familiar with how that works, is going to be operating when I'm here, mostly off of my Wi-Fi. So this will actually, which of course I'm going to use my Wi-Fi. Come on now. So we're, 14.75 megabits per second. So now let's shut down the old Wi-Fi here. And we'll take a look at her. I guess we'll go back. Oh, we'll go back. Don't go there. Speedtest.net. Go. Let's test my Wi-Fi here. What? Holy crap. I'm actually quite impressed with that result, to be honest with you. I think I tested it before I did this, and I got like 1. So I'm really confused as to what's going on there. But I also do believe that the Google Fi actually operates off my current cell phone's plan, so or network. So that's pretty good. Let me try that again. I feel like that was an anomaly. Holy shit. $74. Wow. Okay. Good. Okay, so I have the Google Fi SIM card. I've put it in. If you need help with that, you're going to have to go to a different video. It's pretty easy. I think we've all done it. So I've got the Google Fi SIM card. I've got my Wi-Fi off, and I'm going to do a speed test on the Google Fi network here. And I also have the app now. It's the same exact thing. It's asking me to remove. So let me X out of here. So I'm going to hit go. T-Mobile network here. Now the advantage to the app I found, because I've been doing this in town and all over the place, overall, the Google Fi network is actually better than anything local I've found. Even though it's operating on the local network, somehow it makes it better. I don't know how it works. As you can see at my house, the cell phone data speed is very similar. It's very high. Pretty good. So the advantage of the app is it does an upload speed thing. So I'm not too familiar with what good upload speeds are, but I don't know. That's probably all right. That would come into play uploading YouTube videos. Maybe I'll upload on this network here is for the final experiment. Of course, that won't be on the test. So there we go, 69.1 megabits per second. Exact speed I like. You know what I'm talking about. Anyways, the upload speed, 2.55 meg. I guess that's good. I don't really know enough about. So that's the good baseline test for my house. And overall, I found that it's the same or better everywhere I've gone. So far, the Google Fi has been a big win. There go the dogs. They're fine. Anyways, okay, so I've gotten the Google Fi SIM card, put it in. You guys saw that. I did the speed tests and everything there. Service is great. In fact, there's a dead spot that I've never had service in that's close to my house. But I actually can still, I don't know where it's picking the service up from. I could probably mess around with that speed tester and figure out, but somehow I have service there when it's never had it before, and I don't know of a network that comes in there. It's kind of bizarre. But so I'm actually quite impressed. So far, the network is better or the same as what I had before. Plus, it comes with all the advantages for traveling and stuff that I need for my business. So I think I'm going to officially make the switch to Google Fi, close out my other cell phone plan. Now, the downside to this, and this is one of the Alaska issues, is that I have to... I'm not going to be able to keep my old Alaska phone number. I was going to try the call forwarding thing, and I have the S21 here. It's a good phone. I think it's like the flagship Samsung, or it was last year. It's a dual SIM card phone. And so I have my Google Fi SIM in there, And once you mess around, you learn how to control that a little bit. And my GCI SIM card in there. Now, GCI is a weird network, and there's a lot of issues with this. So this specifically only applies to GCI. I suspect AT&T or whatever, which is another network in Alaska, is going to go a little bit differently, probably better. But, so this is about GCI. Now, I'm not able to call forward from my old Alaska number to the SIM card that's within the same phone. It has to be, because you have to allow both calls and data to come through the SIM card, and then I can't do that on multiple SIM cards within this phone. So the whole thing kind of doesn't make a lot of sense, to be honest with you. It kind of defeats the purpose of the dual SIM card phone if you can't forward to another SIM within the same phone, at least for my purposes. Hopefully that didn't get too convoluted and confusing to you, but basically if you want to call forward to another SIM card, you have to have another phone, another device. And so I think that the issue is actually within the device itself and maybe the technology that's available, and not so much with the networks or whatever. So long story short, I'm going to have to I'm going to have to get rid of my Alaska number. It's a bummer. I'm going to have to, change all my Google stuff, let all my everybody know. Hopefully this is the last time I have to do this in my life. And I'm going to end up having a Montana number. I'm not too stoked about having a non-Alaska number, but honestly, that's just it's just like a badge of honor being able to show the 907 area code. To be honest with you, it raises more questions and costs me more time than it's worth. Some people, it's a little bit of an ego or badge of honor thing. Like I say, I'm just going to let that go. I'm going to go with the Montana number that they gave me. And to sum it up, it's great. Google Fi so far is great. I'm going to make the switch. It works great in Alaska. Now, the initial challenge with it for Alaskans specifically is you have to use an out-of-state physical address, but you can still pick up the SIM card at Best Buy. That's what I did. Or they'll still ship you the SIM card in Alaska. But for whatever reason, the addresses in Alaska don't work. All Alaskans are familiar with that problem anyway. It doesn't matter because it's just the physical they want. The mailing addresses still work up here for this. So you have to get a physical address out of state. Once you get through those initial hurdles on the sign up, everything's phenomenal. It couldn't be easier. You put the SIM card in, you download the Google Fi app. 2 minutes later, I mean, there's like 2 steps to the whole thing. You don't even need a walkthrough on it. Anybody can do it. And I mean, you got your number and you're operating. It works great. There is some settings within your phone. You have to have the Wi-Fi calling on. I mean, that's one of the bases of Google Fi. And you have to have all the data and everything directed through the Google Fi SIM if you have a dual SIM card device, which not a lot of people do at this point. I don't know how many devices besides the S21 even have that. Maybe an iPhone or two, but I wouldn't use an iPhone with Google Fi. I don't think they have the capabilities for the network switching like the Androids do. Anyways, I recommend Google Fi if you have some of the same situations as I do with your travel and business internationally. Oh yeah, and I don't want to forget, I called a buddy of mine in Chile with the +56 area code or country code, and talked with him for, I don't know, 5 minutes, and I think it cost me 4 cents. I was under the impression that the international rates were going to be higher than that. We'll see if that changes, but I mean, you'd have to do a whole lot of talking to ring up a bill there, and it worked great. A lot of the cell phone companies, if you call internationally, if it allows you to, it's going to be ridiculously expensive, and that's just not the case with Google Fi. Plus, the data with the plan that I have is free, so when I do travel to these countries, I'm going to be able to use free data, WhatsApp, that kind of thing. I'm not even going to really have to use the phone anyway. So as far as the cellular network is concerned, I'll use the data network. In most of these countries, United States is one of the few places where the cell calling network is used extensively. In most of these countries, it's a data thing, and you use WhatsApp or Telegram or whatever. So anyways, this is going to work great for me. I'm very confident, and the network works great in Alaska. It's going to work for my business and the things that I need it to. So I recommend the switch, and it works in Alaska for sure.